The livestock industry gains new leadership with the election of Jerry Bohn as the president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, hailing from Wichita, Kansas. Bohn has been part of the cattle industry his entire life. He joins us now to talk about his future role. Congratulations to you, Jerry. Really big honor here. Give us some background on yourself and your time in agriculture.
Well, thank you very much for having me on this morning. I'm a small-town kid that grew up in the Flint Hills of northeast Kansas, and I have spent the bulk of my career in the cattle and beef industry. When I graduated from Kansas State University, I worked for Hormel Packing Company for a short time. I had to spend some time in the military then at Officer Basic School. I am a retired lieutenant colonel from the U.S. Army Reserve and the Kansas Army National Guard. And then I've spent most of my career managing feed yards. I did spend a 7-year stint at CattleFax in Denver in the early 80s. But most of my career has been as the general manager of the Pratt Feeders Companies. We have feed yards in Pratt, Kansas, Ashland, Kansas, and Buffalo, Oklahoma. So been around quite a while.
This is a big honor. NCBA is a large organization. You represent some of the best producers out there across the country, some of the best humans. Talk about some of the main challenges facing the industry and what you're looking to address in this new role. And also, we got to talk about the fact that this is actually a pretty good time to be a cattle producer.
You know, some of the issues I think that we're dealing with right now is obviously we've had quite a crisis in our cattle markets over the last couple of years, starting with the packing plant fire in Holcomb, Kansas in August of 2019. And we barely get recovered from that. And then we go into the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic that caused packing plants to be shut down. And we backed up many cattle. And so I think, you know, that's still we're still fighting that oversupply of cattle that I think resulted from the pandemic. And I think as we get through here in a couple more months, we're going to get through that finally and prices will begin to look better. But, you know, just getting some recovery from the COVID crisis and helping producers maintain their ability to make a profit is going to be one of our goals for the year. I've been heavily involved in this cattle market discussion about price discovery and negotiated trade, and we're continuing to work on that and will until, we get a solution that makes the industry more satisfied with how we do business. And I think, too, the crisis pointed out the challenge that we have a larger supply of cattle than what we have room in packing plants. So there's some legislation that's going on in Washington that might help that. We did get the Ramp Up Act passed, which it gives money or provides some assistance to state-inspected locker plants that want to get federally inspected so that they can sell beef across and meat across state lines. So that law has already been passed, so that's in place. We're still working on one called the Basic Act that would help provide funds to encourage maybe some building of some new plants. So those are certainly some things we're working on that should be positive for producer profitability.
You know, it's funny, you just addressed the whole gamut. Every time I came up with something else, are you going to talk about this? How do you plan on tackling this issue? You just brought it up, especially when it comes to price consolidation. We know this has been a big issue when it comes to our medium and small size ranching operations. We know you're looking out for them as well. So we look forward to our relationship going forward. President of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, Jerry Bohn, congratulations to you, sir.